Tuesday morning. And you know what happens up in New Hampshire? They've got a rule where any community with under 100 voters can open at midnight and close as soon as all the registered voters have voted. And so we have the results. This is historic. This goes down every year. Dixville, Notch, Hart's location, and Millville, New Hampshire. And who wins? Well, take a look at that right there. Or, Ainsley?
Donald Trump wins. 64 ballots were cast. 32 of those went to Donald Trump, 25 to Hillary Clinton, 3 to Gary Johnson. Then there were some write-ins. You had 2 for Bernie, 1 for John Kasich, and 1 for Mitt Romney.
Right. I don't think that Kasich and Romney will win tonight. I'll go out on the limb there. I know we shouldn't make predictions at this point, but we do want to brag a little bit.
Yes.
We do?
7 o'clock, Donald Trump will be on with us live. First time in quite a while.
Absolutely.
At 7 o'clock Eastern time. It's going to be really interesting. This is the man that legitimately does not sleep.
No.
He was just on stage an hour ago, it seems.
He covered 5 states yesterday.
No, I think he covered all 57 states that Barack Obama was referring to back about 8 years ago. So anyway, he's even though he's probably shot, it has been a 17-month odyssey for him. He'll be joining us for 2 blocks at 7 o'clock. Meantime, both candidates making their final pitches last night to voters well after midnight. They've had their say, and now it's time for you, the American voter, to have yours.
We have Fox team coverage on this Election Day morning. Mike Emanuel is following Hillary Clinton, who just arrived home in Westchester County.
Right, but Mike, I know you're tempted to talk, but it's not your time, okay? Let's go first to John Roberts. He's at the Trump campaign location live in New York City where a car or a truck is backing up. John, look to your right, quickly.
If you don't hear a backup alarm in New York City, you're not in New York City. You're somewhere else. Good morning to you, Brian Ainsley. Yeah, exactly. Good morning to you, Brian Ainsley. Steve, right after Donald Trump talks to you, he'll shower, shave, get dressed, have a cup of coffee. Then he'll come down here to PS 59 in Manhattan, where he will cast his vote at 10 o'clock this morning. All the poll workers went in just a short time ago. Polls open at 6 a.m., and they don't close in New York City until 9 p.m. They're really the outcome of what happens here in New York State. Probably won't be much of a surprise. It's gone Democratic as long as I can ever remember. But there are other battleground states out there that may switch back and forth. Donald Trump returned at 3:30 this morning from Grand Rapids, Michigan. After that 5-state swing, he started in Florida, went to North Carolina, then to Pennsylvania, then to Manchester, New Hampshire, finished off in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's been a blue state since 1992. Last time they voted for a Republican was George H.W. Bush in 1988. But the Trump campaign saw that the race appeared to be tightening up, so they decided to invest in it. They think that Donald Trump's message of bringing auto jobs back to Michigan is something that's resonating very well with workers across the state, much better than Mitt Romney, who in 2012 said, "I don't support the auto bailout." Interesting to point out, too, there's no early voting in Michigan other than absentee balloting. So it's all about getting people out to the polls today. Last night in Grand Rapids, Donald Trump channeling Bill Pullman's character of President Whitmore from Independence Day. Listen to this.
Do you want America to be ruled by the corrupt political class? Or do you want America to be ruled by you, the people? That's what it is, by the people. Today is our Independence Day. Today, the American working class is going to strike back, finally.
Always better to channel Bill Pullman than Randy Quaid as well. Donald Trump's big problem today could be Hispanic voters. There was a big surge of Hispanic voters in places like Nevada, Florida, and North Carolina. Those states were looking really tight, so he's got to get a lot of people out to the polls today to counter that Hispanic surge. I mean, this thing may come full circle back to last June when Hispanics were outraged over what Trump said when he threw his hat in the race. So we'll see how it goes. Brian, Steve, Ainsley.
All right, John, you can see the finish line, and it is soon. Thanks so much. Interesting, though, if you look at the Fox poll, we're not going to talk about polls today, but one thing that was pretty important is he got his highest poll numbers amongst Hispanics, much higher than Mitt Romney got and much higher than John McCain got.
Well, if the polls are accurate, it's going to be close. We're going to be following this all day. Hillary Clinton's final act, wrapping up with a 3-state blitz.
But do her star-studded surrogates have what it takes to help her fend off Donald Trump?
Fox News senior political correspondent Mike Emanuel is live in Chappaqua, where Clinton plans to vote just a couple of hours from right now after she grabs a couple hours sleep. Right, Mike?
Steve Ainsley, Brian, you're absolutely right. Election Eve campaigning slipped over into Election Day with Hillary Clinton's plane touching down about 3:40 this morning in nearby White Plains. With President Obama's agenda and his legacy on the line, the Obamas and the Clinton teamed up basically to try and elect our 45th president. The Obamas and the Clintons appeared at a big rally last night in Philadelphia. The First Lady told supporters they believe they have a duty to ensure this country is handed over to a leader all Americans can trust, someone who takes the job seriously and is ready to be commander-in-chief. Mr. Obama tried passing the baton by paying tribute to the Democratic nominee.
She doesn't complain. She doesn't buckle. She brushes it off. Like the American people, she is strong and tough. And she knows that government service is not about her. It's about you. Your struggles, your dreams.
In front of what the campaign says was the largest crowd of her 2016 run, Clinton essentially talked about the future of this country.
Our core values are being tested in this election. We know enough about my opponent. We know who he is. The real question for us is what kind of country we want to be and what kind of future we want to build for our children.
Clinton also got some help from Bruce Springsteen, John Bon Jovi, and Lady Gaga, to name a few in the final stretch there. She got home about an hour ago in Chappaqua after freshening up a bit. We expect her to come down to the school and vote and then watch the whole process play out. Ainsley, Steve, Brian.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Last week we were talking about how she had ordered up a barge of fireworks as a celebration for her party. It's going to be on the west side of Manhattan over the Jacob Javits Center. Interestingly enough, a project that was started by Donald Trump. But last week the campaign called the Coast Guard and canceled the fireworks. Wonder why that is.
They got negative publicity over celebrating before they got into the end zone, clearly. And then, of course, the polls started really tightening up. That could be one thing. Could be saving money.
Could be, right. Because Mitt Romney did the same thing, remember, and spent $25,000 on the fireworks display that never went off over Boston.
Yeah, I saw one of the headlines, I think, on the Daily Mail that said, what do they know? Why did they cancel their fireworks?
Well, it's just so close. And it'd be embarrassing if they had all of this set up and weren't able to shoot it off.
Indeed.
We'll have a chance to ask Donald Trump, but evidently he's going to stay in Trump Tower until he finds out what happens. Then he's going to go over to the Hilton right down the road and see where the celebration will take place.
This is a cover of the New York Post today. It reminds everybody to go vote. And it shows a woman who is holding her nose, and it says, essentially, vote for the one you dislike the least.
Wow.
That is when you look at some of the exit polling over the last couple of weeks, the whole thing has been, are you voting for the person you like, or are you voting against somebody? And in most cases, it is where people are voting for
just charge your phone, because you might be waiting for like an hour. You definitely need to go vote. And I like what you said yesterday. You have no right to complain about the next 4 years if you don't go vote. Just charge your phone.
Sure. 84% of the country said they're disgusted by this whole political season. However, at the same time, you've never seen consistent, enormous crowds like the ones that Donald Trump have gotten. I don't care if he gets one vote or if he wins this whole thing. No one has seen what he has put together in terms of live events that were put together within hours, and people just flood to that location.
There's just a wave. People really like him, and they like the anti-establishment message. They want change in Washington.
And so what you're looking at right there, folks, is essentially the choice. These are the candidates last night. At the 11th hour, you've got Hillary Clinton with Barack Obama, who, you know, according to the Ed Klein books, they do not like each other. And yet, you know, politics makes strange bedfellows. And he's there to try to preserve his legacy. And screen left, you've got Donald Trump and the entire Trump family. So the choice is yours.
Amazing to see that.
Or more of the same.
Amazing to see that CNN finally found their crowd camera last night when they had those huge crowds in Philadelphia. For 15 months, you could not see the crowd. All of a sudden, Hillary's crowd got visible when John Bon Jovi, Lady Gaga, Bruce Springsteen showed up.
Sure. Well, and the WikiLeaks, and we're going to talk a little bit more about CNN later on, but it clearly has been the Clinton News Network. I mean, for years, going back to the 90s, they joked about CNN standing for Clinton News Network. More evidence that they were in the tank for Hillary. Coming up.
We'll talk about that later.
All right, so It is Election Day. Wake up. Donald Trump's path is clear. Win the toss-up states and flip a blue state, but can he do it? Scott Rasmussen shows us what it will